5 November Golf.
The target's heading right at us.
He's too fast.
Panamanian government evidence of passengers dead or alive. Please stand by.
Are we slowing down?
This thing's only 200 miles off the eastern American seaboard, and we don't even know what the hell it is.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Alright, quick warning as I start this video, you may hear some noise in the background. Unfortunately for me, in my living situation, that's going to be the washing machine. So if you hear some sort of murr in the background, that's what it is. Second of all, I am sorry for not uploading anything in a long time. It's not because I didn't want to, it's because I have been the subject of Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events. I made a Darth Nihilus Sith Lord rambling, and the file got corrupted, and it was a like hour-long rambling, so I got really dejected by that. And then I tried to make some more recordings, and I made 2. I'm not going to say what they were because I plan on remaking them, and they're kind of a surprise, I guess. And my computer decided to die on me, so yeah, I have not been having a good technical last couple of weeks, and the old computer is still working after I managed to play with it for like 5 hours, and I got a new one. And yeah, so I don't know why I need to tell you all this, but that's what's been going on. Now, this video is going to be the first in a series of videos I'm doing where, you know, honestly, I'm a Star Wars guy, I get it. I make Star Wars, but God, I need to take a break from it every now and again. I will continuously upload Star Wars stuff as I can, but let me upload my garbage as I feel. You know, I tried to do this years ago. I uploaded a couple of movie reviews. In fact, I think I already made a movie review about this ages ago, but then I deleted it. And I also uploaded a couple of discussions and whatnot, which might actually still be on the channel. I don't even know. Like, there's a Stargate one, which I don't think anyone really wants to talk about Stargate. I know there's some hardcore Stargate fans out there, but I think the fandom is slowly decaying just because there's no real new material. There's no TV shows, there's no movies, there's maybe some books or whatever. I know that there's been some stuff going on like the Stargate website, but I haven't been involved in it, and I kind of gave up on Stargate after Stargate Atlantis because Stargate Universe sucks dick. But anyway, to anyone who doesn't know, I am a massive Godzilla nerd. I love Godzilla. In fact, he is my favorite fucking hero. Yeah, so, you know, he does this every now and again. But regardless of that, you know, he's a good guy, cool dude, you know, he only beats his child every now and again. And he only destroys Tokyo every other movie. because sometimes he's a good guy. He's a big, burly, chunky boy, like, you know, here.
Damn. Damn, boy. Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick-ass boy. Damn.
And, you know, I just feel like talking about him now. Unfortunately for me, I feel like talking about this fucking abomination of a movie. Now, I'm sure that people who are much better at reviewing movies have talked about it. I'm sure that there are much better reviews, much better blah blah blah. And once again, this is in the vein of how I do videos. This is not a total review. This is just a rant, a sort of discussion on my part about what I think about this fucking movie and how I grew up with it. If you don't want to watch the video, feel free to leave. Some Star Wars will be up soon, I promise you. And yeah, so let's get started. Unfortunately for me, I think this was my first Godzilla movie. You know, it's like with Star Wars, Episode 5 was my first one. My first was Godzilla 1998. And when I was a little kid, I loved this fucking movie. Like, if you could... I did, in fact, play this movie on loop over and over and over and over. And somehow, I didn't realize it was not very good. Then again, it was made by the same people who made Independence Day, and I watched Independence Day a lot. And now that I've gotten older, I really don't want to watch that movie anymore either. It's weird how your tastes change as you get older, I guess. Now, why do I want to talk about this movie? Just because it's been on my mind. I watched King of the Monsters last year, and it's one of my favorite Godzilla movies. And I've just been thinking about American attempts to do Godzilla justice. And, there was no justice. There was nothing for this fucking movie. Because Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin are fuckwits. You know, Dean Devlin at least has the common decency nowadays to go, yeah, you know what, I fucked up with that fucking movie, and I'm sorry. Fucking Roland Emmerich can suck my ass. The guy cannot make a good movie. He makes disaster pornography. He wants to show you the White House blowing up. He wants to show you New York freezing over. He wants to show you, I don't know, future world getting destroyed and the Statue of Liberty in the sea. And then Dean Devlin did Geostorm, which was a CGI nightmare. You know, it's just like, God, can you try something else? Can you stop trying to nuke the entire world with every movie you make? Holy shit. It's kind of like with Star Wars. We keep trying to remake the Death Star, even though none of us asked you to remake the fucking Death Star. But that's besides the point. Whew, boy. You know, if you're a Godzilla fan, and I hope I have at least some Godzilla fans among me and my little group of followers, I don't know how everyone else feels, because there are genuinely some people out there who love this movie as a Godzilla movie. I do not. If you take Godzilla off of the title of this movie, it's fine. You know, it's not as good as, like, Cloverfield, and I don't even like Cloverfield all that much, but Cloverfield is at least a much more attractive original monster movie.
Oh shit! Oh shit! This is crazy,
Godzilla 1998 is more like a mediocre, giant, radioactive Jay Leno lizard in New York. And, you know, my thing about it is that I liked the design, and I still do like the design. It's a cool monster design. It looks weird, and I never really gave it much mind growing up how his arms are so, like, Emperor Palpatined into his fucking chest, where he runs like he's got some sort of congenital disorder in his arms. I never really gave that any mind, but then when I get older, I'm like, what is wrong with your arms? And I get it. He's like an iguana, but, you know, something about iguana doesn't scream to me arms in on my chest. But that's besides the point. Like, Matthew Broderick, I don't hate him in this movie, but he's used basically to be a meme nowadays.
That's a lot of fish.
Yeah, we all know the joke. Anyway, and God, Maria Patillo, and then half the cast of The Simpsons. Yeah, like I said, much better people have talked about this movie, but I I can't exactly explain to people what it is about this film that I used to like as a child. Like, trying to get into my child's brain and figure out what was interesting. Like, the first Godzilla appropriate scene with the first attack in New York, where he's coming out of the ocean and he just tramples over shit. That's kind of cool. You know, they don't really show you what he looks like. He only really annihilates a fish truck and accidentally stomps on people and maybe, like, crashes through buildings. I don't know what kind of animal he is, where... I don't know any animal, because they describe him as an animal in this fucking movie. I don't know what animal sees a building and decides the best way to get around it is to literally just smash your face through it and make a giant hole in it. Because there's no animal out there that I know of that goes, oh, look at this giant wall of ice, let me just burrow my way right through it. And then I didn't really understand or know, especially now that I'm older, that the fucking New York subway system was so massive that a giant lizard could burrow its way underground and just live down there. Yeah, I know, he's made tunnels bigger for himself, but was no one checking the tram? Was no one checking the subway system? Was no one down there when a giant lizard just cracked the earth open and just decided to crawl in there? Oh, man. And then the first helicopter chase was like the crowning moment from little kid me. I loved just him running through the streets of New York. Him. I don't even know if it's a him. It's an asexual pregnant creature that produces 10 million babies, and then one of them is kind of cool. Hashtag Godzilla the miniseries. It isn't even a miniseries. It was more of a series that only lasted 2 seasons because it didn't have enough funding. But my whatever. It's not my point. The first chase scene is cool. I give the movie that. Even though Godzilla doesn't do goddamn thing, and his quote-unquote fire breath is ridiculous. It's lame, because everyone knows that back in the early days of the internet, when this film was being created, Dean Devlin went onto some internet forums and basically put up a poll somewhere asking the official Godzilla fan club, would it be okay if Godzilla did not have his atomic breath in a movie? And he basically got shot down immediately with a massive fuck you no. So to make up for that discrepancy, Roland Emmerich decided to shove this abominable scene into the movie where Godzilla yells at a bunch of cars and they decide to explode. And that's his fire breath, really? It looks more like to me that he screamed loud enough for the gas tanks to just blow up and die. Oh, man. And, like, it's, I guess, absorbing and, like, pluming over these Humvees that are driving down the street. That's kind of cool, even though I don't really think it does all too much in the grand scheme of things. But the helicopters, the Apaches, they look like, I don't know my military vehicles, but they look like Apaches to me, are flying after him. There's only 3 of them. I don't understand why 3 are supposed to be able to kill him, but whatever. And it's kind of cool just to see him bob and weave. Like, a lot of people make fun of the film for his running away from the military. But it's kind of cool in the way that he runs, just bobbing through the streets of New York, trampling over all the shit on the street, including these 2 chuckleheads here.
Let's go before we get caught!
Jimmy, you know that bad feeling I get when something really bad is gonna happen?
Yeah.
I'm getting that feeling right now, man.
Holy fucking shit, it's a dinosaur! Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
And jumping on top of buildings, diving down, the fucking military destroys the Chrysler building. Roger Ebert's fucking weird non-cameo character gets upset, which, I mean, to be fair, the military just destroyed half of New York.
Fire at will!
Sergeant, fire at will.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
Follow my lead. All systems armed. Echo 4 armed. I've got him locked on.
Locked on, sir. Target is locked on. Fire the damn mission. Echo 1 through 4. Fire at will.
Fire Sidewinders.
Target, 11 o'clock. Where'd he go?
There's something engaging about the scene. You're just... I don't know if it's enraptured confusion when watching this giant beast run through the streets, hide in this building, scream, pretend scream as the military shoots at him. Jump out from the building behind them and then swat at them like flies, then chase them down mercilessly.
I think we got him.
What you say? Oh, that you only meant well.
This monster does not seem like the type that has an evil bone in its body. It seems like a scared pussy. I mean, I'm just being honest, because it's always running away, so the fact that it's like chasing this last helicopter until it fucking kills the guy is ridiculous to me. And I always thought to myself, well, why doesn't he just raise his elevation? Because he knows this monster's not that fucking big. But, you know, again, what do I know? I'm not a multi-million-dollar director making a multi-million-dollar blockbuster that actually doesn't do all that well at the fucking, you know, box office. Oh, fuck you, Voldemort. And the second helicopter chase is ridiculous because he's running down all these goddamn streets, and these helicopters, like a fucking swarming beehive, descend upon him like the plague of locusts out of the Old Testament. And I'm left sitting there, even as a child, going, well, where the fuck were all you in the last scene? You sent 3, and then this time you decide to send 10 million after him? And, you know, they're firing fucking missiles at him. They're destroying half of the city remains. He dives over them into fucking Hudson River, which, I mean, with how polluted that fucking water source ought to be, he should be dead as it is. And then he has this weird non-battle with submarines, which is kind of cool, especially how he forces them to kill one of their own. And then he digs into a wall. I never understood what he was trying to do. I have 2 ideas. He's either trying to climb out of the bay, or he's trying to burrow back underground to get into his, like, underground fucking lair. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because he acts like he doesn't know how to climb. And again, it's like, what kind of creature just slams his head into a wall and goes, oh shit, there's a wall here. Well, better start digging while I'm being chased by these annihilating murderers behind me. and then he just falls into a fake coma and slips off into the nothingness. And then they try to find his body and wonder why the fuck they can't find a giant monster's body in the Hudson River. But anyway, is it the Hudson? Am I fucking up here? Whatever. The river in New York. And through all this, I never gave a shit about any of the goddamn humans like going on. Like that is a big complaint for any Godzilla film. But to be fair, in some of them I'm more engaged than others. I have an affinity for the characters in Godzilla 2000. Fucking Katagiri's last scream is amazing.
Ha! Godzilla!
Oh, shit. I haven't seen GMK in forever, but I do like the main characters in GMK. The main characters in the other American films in Legendary's Monsterverse are fine. I'm not like attached to any of them, but they're totally fine. There's nothing wrong with them. You know, I can at least remember their names. There's Ford Brody in the first one, who's really the main character. Dr. Sarazawa, Dr. Graham, and then in King of the Monsters, there's Rick Stanton, Dr. Chen and Ling, fucking Mark Russell, Emma Russell, Madison Russell. My point is, I can remember their names, and sometimes I have a hard time remembering the names of the fucking 98 characters, because it's Nico Tatopoulos, haha, his last name is Tatopoulos, and no one can say it because they're all a bunch of fucking retards. Audrey Timmons? Yeah. Animal, his girlfriend, I don't know what the fuck her name is. The Colonel, who is just played by Shia LaBeouf's dad from Transformers. Roger Ebert, not Ebert, not Roper. God, what's the name of the fucking dumbass? O'Neill. I remember O'Neill because he's a fucking idiot. But, well, okay, I guess I remember some of their names, but it's in the heat of the moment. Sometimes I'm just like, you know, Matthew Broderick's character. I don't know. These characters are so ridiculously annoying. They're bereft of any emotion. They have no characterization to them beyond, like, one thing. Like, Matthew Broderick, Nico Tatopoulos, what's his thing? Well, he's really into science, and he likes to study what is going on with Godzilla. That's about it. Radiation, worms. Yeah. And Audrey is just wanting to be a real news anchor. Animal just really wants to get on film the weird shit. Oh, fucking Mr. French. Oh, God, what's his actual name? Oh, God. I don't remember what his real name is. Mr. French is all I know him. It's all I know him as. Played by fucking, Mr. Reno here. Oh, God. Like, he's okay. But again, it's like his motivation is just kill the monsters, make sure no one knows that France is responsible for this whole mess. Yeah, because it was France and not, like, America that basically is the cause of Godzilla's awakening in the original Japanese movie. I don't know why France? Like, I get France nuked the South Pacific, because that makes a whole lot of sense, but France? Like, wouldn't it make more sense if it was American nuclear testing that went on back in the 50s or whatever, that had mutated some subspecies out there in the Pacific that, as time went on, got larger and larger and then came to America and kind of bit us in the ass because of our own, I don't know, hubris with the nuclear weapons? But no, it's the French. I guess we didn't like the French all that much in the 90s. I don't know. And this movie's a mess. I haven't thought about it in a long time, but I wanted to talk about it, and this seemed like a good platform to do it. And when they go into Jurassic Park Godzilla Edition with all the mini Godzillas, the CGI is terrible. the little Godzillas are not interesting in that they all just look like Godzilla. They attack you like velociraptors from Jurassic Park. Everyone knows the complaint in that regard. And they eat humans. They eat humans just because they smell like fish, because otherwise they would just be eating fish. So suddenly now they're just on a human rampage. If they all reach the size of Godzilla, first of all, we can kill the original Godzilla just fine, so we should be able to murder all those little bastards equally as easily, so it's not even that big of a threat. Second of all, when they get huge, if we let them live, they're not going to be able to eat humans that much anymore, because eating one of us will literally do not a goddamn thing for them. They would begin murdering each other for food sources, or eating giant batches of fish wherever they could find them, or whales. And then, like, this scene where they're eating popcorn, I mean, I guess that's funny because, you know, wrong floor. But I don't know, when I look back at it, I didn't realize how bored I was with this fucking part of the movie. I remember in my younger days being kind of like, oh, cool, this is the part of the movie where it's like semi-thriller-y, because I like the whole military men being killed off one by one, and they're all like just stuck in this big building. I didn't know what Madison Square Garden was back in the day. And just being like stuck there and then trying to find safe rooms and shit. That was kind of intriguing. But looking back on it, man, this is just boring as fuck. And then they get the news out. They fucking bomb the building. They all murder all the little babies. Oh, you're supposed to feel a little bad about it. Even though they have their quick, like, oh, wasn't that one hell of a ride? Man, golly gee, it's a good thing we killed off all those little bastards. And then so he's not dead, somehow. So, I don't understand. He gets shot by fucking missiles underwater. And what? Did they knock him out? And he just swam or fell to the bottom of the bay, bottom of the river. And then like 3 hours later go, huh? Oh man. I really had a bad night last night. What the fuck have I been doing? Oh, jeez, I better go and find my kids. I've been on a real bender. Hey, kids, oh, shit. You're all fucking dead. Oh, you must be responsible for killing them, you 4 bastards. And then he just chases after this one car with this vengeful... Again, it's like with the helicopter. He suddenly has a vengeful shriek where he decides, I'm going to murder these tiny human beings who have killed my children, which is kind of funny, kind of weird. I mean, I like the chase. Again, it is kind of interesting just having them drive away, drive and bob and weave, and the fucking monster's chasing them and tries to cut them off and tries to bite them. They drive over his toe. Then they get in the, what is it, Park Avenue tunnel? Something like that. One of the tunnels. And that is one of the better scenes where he's just trying to claw at them. That is kind of a scary thought where you're just stuck in the middle of a tunnel. There's some giant beast out there that's trying desperately to maul you to death. And then this scene.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. We're in his mouth. We're in his mouth. You're going the wrong way, man. You're going the wrong way. Shut up now.
Yeah. And when you get to the end, after this long chase, after everything's been said and done, and they send these fucking jets after to kill Godzilla again, and first of all, you're driving over the Brooklyn Bridge. He's smart enough to jump over, oh god, I know what it's called, but the divider, and then he jumps off of it, and then he gets stuck in the suspension cables on the second, I don't know what this is, like a divider, a support area, I'm forgetting the official term for it, but he gets stuck in it. He was stupid enough to climb under that one, have all these bricks fall over him, have all the suspension cables tie him up, and then the missiles come and they kill him, or slowly, they shoot him 2, 4, 6 times, they fly off. He's pissed, he tries to swipe at them, they don't really get hurt, the taxi fucking flips onto the other side, they turn around and they watch the beast be murdered. And when I was a kid, I was more emotional about it, where it's like, stop killing this random monster. And I was trying to equate it to Godzilla. And I don't think I actually was when I was young. I think I was just watching a monster be killed and just kind of like, okay, can you stop mauling this beast to death in front of me? Because they come around, they shoot him again. And they really try to make you feel sorry for it. Like the King Kong effect of, oh, who is the real fucking animal here? But it's too late for that movie! You spent the entire time trying to murder this thing without giving him a character, without giving him any motivation beyond just feeding his young. You trample this city, you make no one really feel bad for him. Even Nick Totopoulos, who is like the one person trying to investigate this fucking monster, doesn't really feel anything for him. It's just kind of like a, this is what I know about the creature, this is what I think, this is my scientific approach to what the fuck is going on. He never says, well, we should pity it, well, we should think about it, oh, it's very, you know, it's scared, it's blah blah blah. Does he seem to give a shit that this monster's been shot and is bleeding all over the city? And no, he doesn't. So when he's having this moment where Godzilla falls over and is dying and whining like a little bitch, and he walks up and looks at the monster in the eye, and there's supposed to be like this scene of like connectiveness of, oh, you have killed me, and you are the true monsters for doing so. It's like, movie, you did not make me feel anything for this monster at all, and now you basically just, you forgot to make me feel anything for this fucking monster, and at the end you're like, oh man, isn't it terrible what we've done to this thing? No, not really, because you didn't make me feel anything for it. It's like, what is it like? It's like fucking episode 9. Kylo Ren decides he's gonna be a good guy, and he basically dies at the end, and I'm supposed to feel something about it. Not really. He didn't really earn his fucking redemption, but that's a whole other argument, and I'm sure the the Reylo fans are screaming. But that, again, besides the point. And we get this fucking Marvel stinger way before Marvel stingers were a thing for a sequel that will never be made, where fucking Godzilla Jr. is supposed to basically go after and fight this giant bee monster in Australia called the Queen Bitch. It's a real thing. Look it up. It's ridiculous. And instead we get the series where he fights all sorts of monsters, and some of the ideas from the sequel is put in there. But, oh man. This movie, I could watch it again. I'm not like one of those people on here who shall not be named who act like this film is the worst abomination on the face of the earth. And I don't begrudge them for thinking that way, honestly. But I will say that it is not something I want to watch as much as I did when I was a little kid. I am happy that this movie got me into Godzilla, because I did not understand exactly what Godzilla was from watching this movie, because the next Godzilla film I watched after this was Godzilla 2000. And when I went from the Americanized 1998 to Godzilla 2000, I saw this rubber suit fucking thing walking around with all these Japanese people, and he was fighting other monsters. I didn't get it at first, and I thought it was kind of weird how they were related, because my little boy brain wasn't really understanding that they were related, but they weren't related. And then I watched the other Japanese films, and I slowly started to go, oh yeah, this is some cool shit. And I like a lot of the Godzilla films, Showa, Heisei, Millennium, and I love the Monsterverse. Anyone who hates the Monsterverse, whatever. There are far worse things that Godzilla has been associated with, alright? But anyway, that's all I wanted to say about the film. If anyone, likes Godzilla, comment down below. I would love to know that I'm not alone on my channel in the Godzilla love, or if you hate this movie, just tell me how much you hate this movie. I don't know. If you love it, tell me you love it. What do you love about it? I have a Patreon if you want to support me. You don't have to. Totally free. Let me show myself. Subscribe to the channel and like the video if you like what I did here. God, that was terrible. That was terrible because it made me feel like a shill, and it was terrible because I couldn't even say the line right. Anyway, like I said, a Star Wars video will be up soon. Give me a break. Let me have my me videos every now and again. I know they're not going to get as much views. I know not as much people are going to like them. I know they're not going to get commented on. I just need to have them for my own sanity. With that said, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, bitches.